The inspiration for this piece was a striped blanket that I saw on my Facebook feed. My design really doesn't look like the blanket that much, but kind of does. I often just pick something that I think might look cool and then sort of just put my own spin on it. First of all, I decided to take my Kissing Booth and Summer Crush and mix them together to tone down the pink in the Kissing Booth a little bit. For this project, I'm using Debbie's Design Diary DIY paints, which are all natural clay and chalk-based paints. I'll put a link to my website in the description box if you'd like to try them. The next two colors I decided to use on this piece are Sea Glass, and then underneath that I'm using Gypsy Green. And I decided not to tape the whole entire desk off. I decided to just go ahead and freehand all the stripes. Here I'm using Kissing Booth without the Summer Crush in it, and then underneath that I'm using the Summer Crush. And here I decided to go ahead and use the Gypsy Green again. The color I chose for the bottom is Sandy Blonde. Okay, at this point I have to admit I was just a little bit scared. I took a bunch of DIY colors. There really wasn't an exact recipe of what I had planned to do. I decided just to take all the colors that I already had open and just use them in stripes. And I used Jamie Ray Vintage stencils, the border, I think it's called Mexican border, I think, something like that. And the boho border stamps from Iron Orchid Designs. So that's what I used on this piece, and I hope that if you try it, that you just grab some colors and have fun with it. You don't have to use the same colors I used. This is the JRV stencil that I used. It's called Mexican Embroidery Border, and I decided just to use a little portion of it for the top part because I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to put them on, but I wanted them to all look different. I'm also using her stencil brush, which is really great for the stencils. You really just don't get the bleed through that you do with other brushes and thinner stencils. The stamp I'm using here is from the Bohemian border stamp set from Iron Orchid Designs. I've said it many times, I know I would change my ways. This piece that I'm using here is from the JRV Stencils, the Mexican Embroidery Border. And I'm also using Sea Glass paint. I've got it right and I got it wrong. The little stamp that I'm using here is from the Bohemian border stamp from IOD also. And let it go for a little while. So I'm just really mixing it up and having fun with the stamps and the stencils, and just randomly putting them where I think they'll look cool. We got nothing to be scared of. I'd rather be with you than by myself. If you are a creative and you are scared to try something new, don't be, just do it, just do it. I tell people all the time that come into my shop and they say, well, I couldn't do what you do. Well, have you tried? if you haven't tried, you don't know. You don't know whether you can or not. I didn't know. I honestly didn't. I didn't know that I would have so much fun painting pictures. I didn't know that I'd have so much fun painting furniture. I remember my first few pieces were white and gray and black, one color. They were boring to paint. I didn't enjoy myself. And I remember even seeing dressers that have 6 drawers, and I was thinking, I don't want to paint 6 drawers. That takes way too long to paint that many drawers. And now it's just, I don't think of it in the terms of how many drawers is that to paint, how long is it going to take me to paint. I think of things more as, what can I do to this piece to make it a one-of-a-kind cool piece that somebody's going to love. I decided I wanted to put a little bit of embellishment on it to make it look like it had thread running through it. So I took a little piece of rope and smushed it in some layered chocolate paint and then put it around the edges where you can see it looks like it has thread. And you can see this was very messy. I just think this little detail just adds a lot to the piece. It makes it look more like it's an actual blanket. Once I was done, I decided to finish it off with a layer of the DIY clear wax. I really love this wax. It's super soft and buttery and really easy to use. Once it completely dried, I thought it was just a little too bright, so I did a layer of the darkened Decrepit glaze, which darkened it up a little bit and just made it look more authentic, I think. I remember the first colorful piece that I did. It was a cabinet and it was all different colors. It was all blended, all different colors. And it was way back when I was a vendor at a local store in Spokane. And I was thinking, well, people are either gonna love it or they're gonna hate it. And it sold the day I put it in the store. So I think that was a huge encouragement for me to just start painting more artistic type things. Like I thought, I'm not gonna paint anything white anymore. And if I do, it's not gonna be plain white. And yeah, sometimes things sit longer than other things. Sometimes you miss the mark and you end up having to repaint it. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm having more fun than I was when I was painting everything one color. That's for sure. Anyway, yeah, just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try something new. That's all I've got to say. That's it. I really thought this just needed a little bling, so I added some copper patina, which is Debbie's Design Diary DIY Pennies from Heaven copper patina. I love this, and I really think that it just put the most beautiful finishing touch on this piece that it really needed. Basically, I just brushed it in around the edges of the drawers and the corners, and then just sort of blended it in with my brush. I used the JRV Stencil Brush to do this because I felt like I had a little bit more control over the brush because it was small. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will like and subscribe to my channel. And if you need any of the products that I used on this piece, I have them on my website at elsielaneboutique.com. If you're in the Spokane Valley area, please stop by and see me at 100 N Houk Road. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
They settle down beneath my feet. I've got it right.